how were you treated when you came back? When you were done, or was
I
it?
was actually one of those guys that got spit on,
Oh,
Oh
really?
believe it or not.
So the
crap!
people
Wow.
who
Yeah,
say that that's a myth and that never happened, you could
in
say that that's
Cleveland,
bullshit.
in Cleveland. And the problem was when it came back, I had to uh, they put us back in our greens.
Yeah, it's
See,
like
we just
could.
got off the plane, they put you in greens, and you were gone. I didn't be civilian clothes. And I'm out there in San Francisco, don't know anybody, don't know nothing. They drop you off, and you got to just split, get on the airplane, and go. So you come back, and I get back in Cleveland one night, and um, we uh, and I'm walking through the terminal there, and some bits I'm getting spit on, baby cure, all this stuff, just like you hear about, all that
Yeah,
stuff they gave to me,
yeah, it's fucking
and
disgusting.
Any like, how would you
and it's like,
describe the people
dude,
who
what I do to you, man?
was it
You
like
know?
a group of protesters? Was it a massive protest
I
or what
don't. They
was
weren't
it?
protesting back then. They were just there, this group, and it's like I'm just walking through in it's a busy terminal,
Yeah,
and
and what
it's
do you?
just the way it was.
What are you? Were you 19, 20 years old at that time? Uh, were you around?
I came back at 19. I went. I
Yeah,
was 18 when I went over.
man.
You know,
Yeah, and that's well, the army. First of all, I never understood the green why they put guys in greens coming home. But second of all, it's like how I always ask because you're not the first Vietnam vet that I've met or that I know that's happened to. And I've met others that it didn't happen to. But the I just always ask, how the hell did you just hold back and not beat the living shit out of them people? I don't
you
know.
wanted to, you wanted to, you know, but at that point, I just want to get the hell out of there. Want to get home,
Yeah,
and be out. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
well, I
I
mean,
I
what I
get you.
think people don't understand, I certainly don't understand because during, I think things changed because growing up during the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War, there were certainly plenty of people who felt we shouldn't have been involved there. I could say myself, I was an opponent of the Iraq War, for sure, and I do think the whole nation building of Afghanistan. But I think by and large, even people on the left, not on the radical left, don't blame the military personnel over there. I think it's mainly people who blame the politicians who got us in that mess, the people at the top of the pyramid, so to speak, and not the guys on the ground who are just there doing a job and have absolutely no say in foreign policy.
Well, you know, you look back, what was it for? It was for nothing. I mean,
Yeah,
really, what was the war for? So, I
yeah.
mean, I don't begrudge anybody that when you look back, because back then we thought we had a noble cause, and
But it's like at the end
what
of
were
the
you
day,
doing?
why were they
You know?
spitting on you? You didn't start the Vietnam War. You were just there to serve, and you being there
I don't.
made it fortunate enough for them to not be there.
Well, hey, I'm taking your place, man.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
see, that's
exactly.
I don't think you can ever reason with people like that. I can't. You just you don't. They have no idea that
Left brain, right brain. There's no, it's just a whole different mentality. You're
it
never going to
is.
understand it, you
And,
know.
and
And
that's why sometimes I think it's okay to jack somebody in the jaw. Just like, all right, spit, boom, we're done. You spit at me, I
back then
hit
you
you.
get away with it. Now you're going to jail,
No, you would. It would. Yeah. And the problem is those, and even myself, even this last 9/11. We look back at Afghanistan. I spent many years in Afghanistan, and
Wow. I can't even
I,
imagine years.
well,
Can't.
well, just it's. I think, and I don't want to downplay the Vietnam vets because again, I looked up to you guys. I looked up to you guys that night on 9/11, 2012. I was like, fuck, those guys are out in the bush, freezing, mosquitoes everywhere. I'm sitting up here on the top of the building. Yeah, it sucks. I'm by myself, or I've got Boone here with me. We're good. I got Snickers. It's not raining. It's like 80 degrees out. It's wonderful. I said it could be a ton worse. So I'm thinking of you guys just to get through the night because I'm thinking, man, it could be a lot worse because they had it a lot worse than me. But looking back at Afghanistan now and spending that much time, I'm like, I, what was it for? I think you're going to find a lot of Afghani veterans that are going to go through the same things that y'all went through as far as just the post-traumatic stress, shell shock, whatever you want, even though I know guys are already going through it, but even more so as the years go on, because we're looking back now going, we're giving billions of dollars to the people we were fighting. they're buying
Oh,
weapons with them and killing
yeah,
or
I know.
killing going to be fighting our sons and daughters. Not us anymore because we're too damn old and broke. But it's like, what was it for? So I get, I understand that now better than I did in the past with the Vietnam vets and how that feeling is. Because I had that feeling this year. I struggled this year because I would look back at the years that I was overseas doing and away from my family, going, "What the? Why?
Yeah.
What the hell for?" And it's because of
Well, the
politicians and
thing
their
is,
stupid
everything
shit.
reverts. It reverts a generation later. I mean, look at this. My son Adam, right? My dad fought in Japan. He was a 4 years as an infantry captain on Okinawa, right?
Wow.
And fought all the battles. And
Jeez.
and so what? Adam comes out. He's a exchange student in Japan for a year. You know, a year later. I go there. We go through all this. With the war and all this. Now everybody's vacation over there. Everybody goes on vacation.
Yeah.
I remember
It's like I
when
don't get it.
I remember when Mike Gravel ran for president. And look, I don't want to get into the politics of everything Mike Gravel stood for, but I just remember watching the Democrat primary at the time. And he made
Yeah,
that exact same point where he said you can now go to Vietnam and you can go to a Baskin Robbins and buy an ice cream cone. And
yeah,
he's like, why are we over there? And his whole thing that he said that I remember, and rest in peace to Mike Gravel. And at the time, people didn't like him saying this, but he said the only thing worse than a soldier dying in vain is more soldiers dying in vain. And that's why he wanted to end the Iraq war, the Afghanistan war way back then in '08, as did Ron Paul, which was not a popular opinion. What were your
oh no.
feelings on the wars that followed? Because you had the experience and the hindsight to say, is this good for the American public? Is this going to be a positive or negative for the guys coming back?
Well, I've always been 100% supportive. I mean, I'm about the troops.
Yeah.
Okay, the political motive, all that. That's like a friend said to me. You get pissed off and be all angry and everything. What are you gonna do about it? Other than vote. What are you gonna do about it? Vote to run for office. There are two things you can do.
Thanks for checking out Battle Line Podcast. This is just a smaller clip from our latest episode, which you can check out in its entirety by clicking here. While you're watching, be sure to hit the subscribe button and thumbs up the video to show your support. Now, if you'd really like to help us out, click the thanks button below to make a donation. It goes directly to us in keeping Battle Line Podcast going for you.